here's the other product that literally blew my hair away at NAMM.
Right.
This is, and I hope I am saying it right, the Klangbogen.
Yeah, Klangbogen. Yeah, Klangbogen.
Oh,
Yeah.
Klangbogen. That even sounds better.
Yeah, and yeah, my German isn't great, so I'm sure there could be different dialects how to say it. What that means is it's called the sound bow, and you have one there showing it.
Yep, this is the brass bow.
Yep, here's one actually in 24 karat gold that we finished.
Awesome.
Yep, and I'll let you ask a question. I'm sure you have a lot of questions about it.
Yeah, how? What made you come up with this? This is unbelievable.
Well, this was originally, it was kind of a little bit of a serendipity and a joint effort. It was originally designed by our team member in Germany, Toko. He came up with the concept of this. In the past, I had done a lot of work with this area of the horn. Here's the neck, the tenon, and how the tenon fits into the horn here. This is a very disruptive area. Before we get into how the ReedGeek Klangbogen works, we're going to talk a little about this area. So we have this tube here. We have our mouthpiece. We won't get too technical, but this is like our big engine, our carburetor. It explodes when we blow. And then this right here amplifies the wave. So this starts amplifying the wave, so it starts resonating that whole tube going down here in the saxophone, if we pretend like we had a sax here. What happens is we make this turn here, and it goes into two straight sections, and the wave starts dissipating. And we start getting a lot of disturbance at this point.
Okay.
Okay, and one thing what happened is we have a conical tube, meaning the tube is like a cone. That's what a saxophone tube, and it comes up and it draws up here. So what happens is we took the tube and we broke it in half. So the wave is getting distorted right here. So we have a lot of energy going boom, and it's propagating, and right when it hits there, it starts doing this. And this is one reason why the low C sharp and the low B are often very bad notes in the saxophone. Because by the time the wave comes down, we try to resonate the whole tube, we start dissipating. By the time we get to the bottom of the horn, the wave doesn't return with the same intensity as we're trying to put into it. So I know that's technical, but any repair people, any people who have played for a long time, when your neck doesn't fit right, whether it's loose or too tight or damaged, you can see a tremendous difference in response when you get your neck fit or how this neck fits into our socket. You probably could do a test to this, understanding that. So what's happening here? So with all that said, what we did is we took the initial design, and we've now refined a lot of the initial design from the initial design of the first Klang. It goes into the lyre section, and again, we can put up some pictures later, or you can go to the website, look at this, but it goes into the lyre section of the saxophone, and it actually sits, if it was on the horn, kind of like here. It can touch the body, but designed not to, and what it's doing is it's actually taking up a lot of this disturbance and taking up the vibrations and stabilizing your tube. Okay, so, and then once it takes up the vibrations, we have a couple different metallurgies we did. You showed the high polished, we have a marbled, we have some of the higher alloys, the silver and the gold plate. We also have a brushed, which is the most bell-like, and how it emanates and vibrates changes the way the sound and the focus of your sound on the saxophone. So what we're doing, once again, is we're stabilizing the tube. So the wave, when it comes down here, and I'm sorry for this video, it's hard to see, as the wave propagates and goes down, instead of breaking up, it feels that it's more of a one-piece tube because it's not getting so much disturbance here. So when that happens, your tone gets a lot more focused.
Yes.
You probably can see things get a little bit more solid. The slots get a little solid. The high notes, the low notes get a little more pronounced. And so this would be the effect of playing a one-piece tube. So the advantage is you can take it on and off. Every saxophone is different, how it's going to respond, how that neck is in relation to the body, how it was designed. The other thing is we call it a reed and bore stabilizer because it works in conjunction with your reed. The more we seat this reed, the more energy is the reed is going in, the more we're trying to vibrate the tube, the more we want to stabilize the tube.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah.
So it's actually working in conjunction with your reed. And we have a lot of players now that are using them, a lot of professional players, recording artists, everyone that's out there, and they just are amazed by what they're feeling on a recording and what it's doing there too. So once again, a lot of this stuff gets a little controversial because there's a lot of stuff out there that doesn't work or kind of works. This is something that is very, very valid. It's designed to work with physics on what's happening with your horn and your tube. So basically, the nutshell is if we had a saxophone and we were playing a one-piece tube, it would be a very different behavior than the saxophone we play today with this cut. It would be a much more focused sound, a much purer sound. So as we get into having this segmented, we get a little more in the sound, a little more broader sound. The Klang will focus that sound and stabilize it.
Now, let me ask you this question. I didn't think of this until now.
Yeah.
A lot of people have the large screw. That's another product. I've not tried that. You know, and how is this different than the enhanced screw ever?
What that's doing is it's kind of, again, we don't have a sax here. It would be right coming in here. What it's doing is it's adding a little bit more mass to this area here because we have a lot of disturbance, a lot of wall flex. So by adding a little bit more stability there, that will help to stabilize that section. So it is valid. This is going to actually be a much bigger difference on how you're going to perceive the horn and how the horn's going to react. One reason is because we're not just adding mass, we're actually taking up the vibration, stopping this. Let's say this is an exaggerated example, but we're stopping this, it's taking up the energy and then it's emanating out the sound, almost amplifying it.
Okay, and actually, and he's talking about the Klangbogen. So
yes.
The thing too, also that I found, when we were talking at NAMM, you had said a couple of things. You said that this was good for the more of the modern horns right now, especially. You find this creates a huge difference on the modern horns. Can you talk about that for a little bit? Yeah,
because a lot of the modern horns, a lot of the fit of the neck and the design and the taper here is different than the classic Mark 6s or these vintage horns, which were some of the best horns ever produced. The Mark 6 has a lot of that core and a lot of that focus in the horn. We do have a lot of guys that use these on their Mark 6, so it's only good to accentuate that. They find that they try different positions with the Mark 6, and you're finding where, it reacts well. But on the newer horns, they lack a lot of that core, that content that the older horns have. It's the one thing that the Mark 6 has always had is that focus, that dark, kind of churn the sound. So this helps add that in to the modern horns by stabilizing that joint a little bit more.
And when people go to your website, you know, could they ask you, like you gave me advice for what to use for mine, because I do have a Mark 6, but I also have like a Selmer knockoff. I call it my beach horn. I use it for outdoor gigs and stuff. And so, you know, I use this definitely on my beach horn, and I don't put the screw in the middle. I put it all the way to the left so that it's the bow is to the right. It works great. I mean, I like it a lot. So if people they can ask you questions in terms of what their setup is, and you'd be able to guide them to which one would be best for them.
Yeah, we try to get back to everybody. With the new website, we're going to have more and more information, a chart talking about a little bit of that. Like I said, this was the gold, high polished gold. This really adds a lot of velvety and richness to the sound. It's quite amazing. There were several prominent players that got the gold plated one from me initially with the 24 karat, because either their horn was gold or they wanted gold, and they had some of the previous ones with the other metallurgies, and they said, wow, the difference is amazing. Have you tried this out, Mauro? And I said, actually, I haven't. And I perceived, you know, the difference in the precious metal, but I didn't realize the difference that the gold and the silver have in the horn. The gold just really envelopes and make a very velvety and rich sound. The high polish, the high polish brings a lot of the guts into the sound, a lot of more core. The brush, which is the most bell-like, you're not treating it all, you're not heating it or polishing it. That has the most kind of omnidirectional sound. It just kind of resonates out like a bell. As you get into polishing and working with the metal, you could start focusing the sound a little bit more. The other model, which I don't have here, is our marbled model. It's kind of the same process as working like with a cymbal, where you work hard and you kind of work with the brass like a cymbal. What that does is it adds a lot of more core to the sound. So the marbled will add a lot of core to the sound, a lot of darkness, some of that Mark 6 sort of dark woofiness into the sound. So a lot of the new horns just for like the Cannonball and the P Marriotts. A lot of the for some reason, the marble works really, really well on those horns. Not saying that the other ones wouldn't work, but we just noticed through demoing that those just seem to really make those horns come alive.
Now we had talked before this also, Yamaha, because Yamaha has a different little bit setup there. Can you talk about that, Yamaha owners?
Yeah, on the Yamaha, we don't have the lyre mechanism. So again, with my makeshift neck example, on the saxophone, you have where you tighten the neck when it comes into here, and then you have the other hole here where the lyre, like a marching lyre, would go through. That's where we're utilizing with the standard pins here with the Klangbogen. The pin goes in top through, we screw it, and it locks in, and you tighten it with your screw here. The Yamaha Customs do not have that. So we just recently came out with the one-piece clang here, which what this does here is it's going to go in between. You put your neck screw in and you tighten it in conjunction with your neck. Once it's on, you can always loosen the screw a little bit, pull out your neck. You don't have to take this out. So this enables you to utilize this. We just recently did a video with Tom Pollister from Tower Power. We just posted it last week. So he got the very first one, and he's was trying it live on the gig and gave me his comments and, of course, the response of what he thought it did. So this is very cool, though a lot of players now are also using this on their Mark 6s or other horns. They kind of like having it suspended off there. You have an adjustment going this way where you touch the body, and you've mentioned this to me earlier. You found when you touch the tenon in some area, you got a different response. Again, this is true, and it's different for every horn. How you're connecting the horn, the vibrations, everything changes, just like ligatures or anything else reseating your reed. So a lot of people also like this one, but you don't have all the different positions for the different pinholes that you would do on the standard.
Right, that is true. That is true.
Yeah.
And I do want to make one point to the listeners too. You know, this does not take care of embouchure problems. This does not take care of, you know, biting on the reed or you have the ReedGeek to help you with your unbalanced reeds. This does not improve your technique. What this is doing, it's enhancing your sound. So this would be, you know, you're talking like high school players that are really involved with their playing and up, you know, people that are at least intermediate level players that want to get, you know, more out of their sound. I could tell you folks, when I was at NAMM, I went back to the ReedGeek booth a number of times, and Mauro was demonstrating the Klangbogen on a bunch of different horns with a bunch of different players. And I was standing right in front of those folks, and I could tell you, I heard a difference. I'm normally not into gadgets. I'm not. But I bought this because I said, holy crap, this really does make a difference. You know, so for those of you that are been playing for a little bit, you know, your embouchure is solid for the most part, and you're looking to get that little extra boost in your sound, get rid of some of those extra little problems near the tenon area, you should check this out. And the way you'll be able to check it out, Mauro was really nice. For a limited time, it's going to be a 1-week offer. You're going to get a 10% discount at the ReedGeek site, but you have to sign up for my free weekly newsletter in order to get the discount code. Yeah. So that, folks, that's awesome. I'm telling you, this is really worth it. Yeah. The Klangbogen as well as the ReedGeek.
Yeah, and that's on all products. The discount for you, Donna, is on all products, not just the Klangbogen.
That's awesome. We really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah. So I wanted to thank you, Mauro, for taking the time and let people know this is just part 1, folks, okay? In the near future, we're going to do this again. We're going to do this with some live demos, and so this way you see more of the benefits of these products. But what you can do, aside from checking out my website at donnaschwartzmusic.com, also check out ReedGeek, ReedGeek.com. Correct. But also the YouTube channel for ReedGeek as well. And those links will be on, not only in my show notes, but they'll also be on the ReedGeek site as well. Yeah, definitely check those out. That's going to help you to figure out the best way for you to use your ReedGeek, and also to see different ways to use the Klangbogen when you get it. So, yes,
definitely.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Donna. Thank you, everybody out there.
It's been such a pleasure. Take care.
Okay, bye-bye.